Hi, Sam here. Check out this cool concept. The idea itself is pretty simple. We're just using the minor pentatonic scale. In this case, we're thinking of B minor. What we're going to do is we're going to take patterns 1 and 2 of the B minor pentatonic, the one that starts here on the 7th fret low E string, and then the one that starts immediately after off the minor third. So both of those go back to back. A lot of the faster pentatonic legato stuff that I end up doing is using a system known as the 3-1-3 system, where you take 3 notes which combine over those 2 positions, then you play 1 note on the adjacent string, then 3 notes on the next string, then 1 note on the next string, then 3 notes. So, hence the word 3-1-3. So that's a good exercise in itself. Now that's great for legato, it's also good for economy picking. And we can use it to play kind of more saxophone style lines really, because it gives you an option to play the pentatonic notes in a non-2 note per string way. The concept that I really want to share with you in this video, however, is based around actually breaking that up even more to make it usable for wider interval sounding lines and also for melodic playing as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, first of all, let's just make a 2-3-1-3 system first of all. So we're going to take notes B and D on the low E string, 7th and 10th fret. 3 notes on the next string, 7, 9, 12. Then 9 on the D, 7, 9, 11 on the G. And then we're going to play the 10th fret on the B string. And so we're going to finish up there 7, 10 on the high E string. So we have this. So that's still the 3-1-3 system really, just with 2 either side, and that's also good for economy picking. So what I'm going to do now is actually take away some notes from that pattern. Every 3 note per string bit we have, we're going to take the middle note away, so we end up with this. And that immediately just makes it sound even sort of like we've expanded the range. Obviously the intervals are larger, we've got fourths happening in there, we've got these nice leaps that sound very fusiony, I guess. So what we're going to do now is, obviously we can do that for each position. So here it is starting on position 2 and 3 of the B minor pentatonic, so it seems. So that's the 3-1-3 or a 2-3-1-3 system. Before we move on to some licks and things like that, I want to share the news that I have a Patreon page. And on that page I'll be sharing extra stuff to do with this lesson, including fretboard diagrams for all the positions of this, plus licks. So I hope you can join me over there for $5 a month, and there's loads of other stuff and things I'm practicing which I upload there too. So it'd be great if you could join the community and help support. Until then, enjoy the rest of this lesson. Thank you. So that line was in E minor, and we were using the same position that we looked at in B minor, but we're just going to ascend from the E up to the G string. So 12, 15 on the low E, 12, 17 on the A, 14 on the D, and then 12, 16 on the G. And then we're going to skip back and we're going to do the similar system, but now still with an E minor pentatonic. We're going to start here off the A string. So that's 12, 17 on the A, 14 on the D, 12, 16 on the G, and then 15 on the B string. So, and then on the top E string, we're going to have 12, 17, 12, 15 on the B, and then we're going to have 14, 12 on the G. And there you have it. Okay, so this line sort of demonstrates how you can build little chord voicings from it as well. And of course I'm trying to focus really on melody rather than just a line. Okay, don't forget all these lines you can break up. Once you have these patterns down, your goal shouldn't be just to be able to play it up and down fast. Your goal should be to try and actually make interesting rhythms and musical passages from them. And if that involves straight up and down lines, that's cool. But I really encourage everybody just to try and break things up. For that's where some of the interesting things can really start to come out of these patterns, which might come across as a bit mechanical, especially if we look at the way we discussed them earlier. So it's taking them from the practice room into this sort of writing and creative room and making something of them. I'll stop talking rubbish and I'll get on with teaching the lick. We're going to start here at 12th fret on the A string, hammer on to 17, then 14 on the D, and then hammer pull 12, 16 on the G, and 14 on the D. And then we're going to go up this pattern, which is really just that, but we're breaking it up with a 16th note syncopated rhythm. So we're going to go. So we have 12, 17 on the D, and then we've got these two 16th notes back to back, which is 14, 12 on the G over to the B, and then 17, 15 on the B string. So let's put the metronome on. And then we're going to have this phrase. So these are just chord clusters which I've taken out of the pattern. So if we look at the pattern which goes like this, we're just taking these frets. We're taking 12 on the B, 14 on the G, and 17 on the D. And to be honest with you, I'm not thinking in terms of necessarily what chords I'm playing here. I'm just choosing nice clusters of notes from within the tonality of E minor pentatonic. These could of course be analysed, but I think it's best with this sort of thing just to use them as sound palettes. Then we have this next voicing, 10, 12, 14. And then we're going to move down a set of strings. We're going to have 12, 14 and 17 on the G down to the A. Then this last one's a bit of a sort of a wild card. This voicing really is a major sixth there. So we could be thinking E Dorian. Or we could be thinking of superimposing the F sharp minor pentatonic and finding that voicing as well. However you get to it, it's the same result, and if it sounds good to you, then go with it. And then I just put the fifth in on top here, just as a chord voicing. So if we look at that as a chord voicing, that's going to be root, fifth, sixth, root, fifth. So a kind of loosely an E6 kind of voicing. So there we have it. There's some lines and there's a concept I like to use a lot in my improvisation. See what it does in your playing. It's a really great way of breaking out of your same pentatonic licks. And if you use these ideas of superimpositions, which I'm about to do over a little jam, you can see there's a lot of leeway for creating even wider interval, more extended sound. Thank you so much for tuning in for this lesson. I hope you enjoy the format of this as well. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the future on this channel. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, the bell button and all that stuff. It really helps me out. And if you're looking for diagrams and some extra licks which I've transcribed from this lesson, come over to the Patreon page and check out what's there already. There's a ton of transcriptions up from the last Frank Gambale lesson, Michael Brecker sax solo transcribed on guitar, some workouts and some backing tracks already for other things I've done in the past, and there'll be plenty more stuff, and of course stuff to do with this lesson as well. So yeah, go check it out, have a great day, and here's some playing.